Okay, well, at least it'll be short. My feelings will be short. Hello and welcome. My name is Alex Gonzalez, and with me today is my good old friend, J.E.
Hey, that's me.
And please remember that we are not game devs. How are you doing today, Jay?
I'm doing all right, Alex. It's my eyes are super itchy. I think my allergies are kicking up. I think we probably need a vacuum in this place.
I think so too. I'm doing all right. I've recently started listening to the podcasts in like a surge, and I don't like how nasally I sound. But what are you going to do? I think I have a big nose. But those are not the facial features that we are talking about today. Today, we are creating something new. Every week, we are not game devs. We'll create a new exciting video game idea that we have always wanted to play, but do not have any knowledge or know-how to create the wonderful experience that are video games. I wanted to say complete. Today is my turn to present We Are Not Game Devs 112th IP.
Before you did it. You finally succumbed to the script and you said that are video games.
I've been going back and forth.
Oh, have you really? That's the first time I noticed that you did that instead. I think it's funny that you are technically grammatically correct there, but I just kept it as art.
I am? Ha! The reason, listeners, I am celebrating over Jay as I normally wouldn't is because I'm, up to this point, never grammatically correct. I've had a couple of good weeks so far, or maybe Jay's been lazy. I don't know.
No, they've been good so far.
Okay, cool. So, I want to create a new game, but I don't know if it's safe to do. If not, we're going to change it. Can small children play VR?
How small are we talking about?
I'm not talking about like fresh babies, or I guess fresh isn't the right word. Very young babies. I was thinking fresh out of the womb. So what I was thinking is I wanted to make a new learning suite of video games for children, especially in quarantine, because we know they're not getting the quality education they deserve. Because there's so much else going on. I blame no one. I blame only COVID. So I want to make a new learning suite of games. I want to go with history. I think history can be so well done because we can lean on Ubisoft and use their history textures, hopefully. But also, if not, we can be inspired by them. I want there to be a math component. I want there to be an English component. And then I also want there to be a foreign language component.
Okay. So the age limit is 13. So this would have
that's the youngest.
Yeah. So
let's do something that's just like general for consoles then. And I guess no, because I want to teach basic skills. So for that, we're going to need a controller. Maybe we should aim to put this on. We usually don't decide what consoles it goes on, but I think this is particularly important. Maybe all the consoles with a focus on Switch, where that's the younger demographic. Oh, what am I saying? Cell phones. That's the youngest demographic, isn't it?
Probably. That they start young with the cell phones.
With mom and dad's phone, right?
Yeah.
Okay, we're gonna have to do it on that and that. So I want to create. I remember having so much fun playing a game called Math Blaster. Okay. It was a game that gave me equations, and I was a spaceship going through space, and there were asteroids hurtling towards my spaceship. And if I got the equations correct by punching in the numbers, the spaceship would fire lasers and hit the asteroid that the equation I solved.
Yeah.
Now, we're going to have to make this a non-violent game because I want as many kids to play that, including ones that don't want to be exposed to violence or don't let their parents be exposed to violence. But I also want to make it fun. Let's make it where I don't know how I want to do this because every single thought I'm having is violence. I was thinking about a superhero beating up villains. That's not a good message. I thought about maybe, okay, how about this? What if one of them The more equations you solve is the more times you swing on a tree as a monkey and collect bananas. Bananas are harder equations. Oranges are even different equations, and you can kind of go around collecting fruit as you're swinging from a tree. Or I don't know, help me out here. What kind of math game would be fun?
Well, I was trying to like figure out where you were going with this whole thing.
That's it. That's the platform. I thought of a platform, and I want to make cool education games or fun ones.
So a cell phone based educational game for children. It seems
where there
like
isn't have to be violence, where no one has to get hurt to learn.
Okay,
that's gonna be our slogan. I kid.
Yeah. The monkey. Do you want this to be like one app that parent gets and
I was thinking it
has
could be
different games in it that are all focused on different things?
I was thinking that we would have different packages that they could buy. For instance, if their kid is a math whiz and maybe wanted to work on history, then they could buy these all piecemeal or come together as like the starter basic pack, which we would recommend.
Gotcha. Okay. So if that's the case, then yeah, we could have something like what you said, where you're swinging from tree to tree and you're trying to grab stuff. But I feel like if we are going to do something different, because I feel like there are a lot of educational games kind of like that. I feel like what we could do is kind of have like a narrative going on. Like maybe we create a mascot character. Maybe this monkey is a character with all these games. And maybe it's kind of like a Curious George cartoon situation where there's like...
Okay, now we got to make it like a character. We're going to make this a flying squirrel.
Okay.
It's going to be able to fly and grab fruit still. No, but it's not big enough. Or is it? I don't know.
I mean, it wouldn't be fruit at that point. It would be like nuts and stuff like that.
Let's do nuts and stuff then, because there's already Curious George out there.
Yeah.
And Donkey Kong. And
so
Grape Ape.
Right. So you're just a different type of mascot. Okay, yeah. And I guess, yeah, maybe you are flying from tree to tree and there's like low-hanging nuts that you could go grab. And maybe what it is you're starting from the branch is where you solve the equation to jump up and grab it, because it would have to make more sense that way story-wise, where it's like the game can't just pause midair and then you have to solve an equation and it finish the midair jump. You know what I mean? It's like if you fail it from the branch, then you fail the jump type of thing.
Yeah. And
maybe it could be even sort of story or like gamified, where if you do miss the jump, the flying squirrel can't get the nut and then has to fly down towards the lower branch, and it's an easier math equation from there. You know, if he goes higher,
and maybe you can
lower.
Do longer flying sections where there's like little natural air vents that you solve the equations, and then it releases the air to keep you flying.
Or like different events or frenzies or whatever they call them in like games like this, where you have to do rapid fire questions, and however many you get in like 10 seconds, it gives you like an extra boost or whatever to get a lot of different nuts.
I like that.
The story could be told. So obviously if we do stories like this, it would be like, there's a beginning and end, and then we would have like occasional DLC, I guess, like extra chapters you could buy with.
The story for the math one would be that he saved enough that because he didn't understand math, he didn't save enough nuts for winter, and he had to be taught math in order to make sure he has enough nuts to survive the winter, and that's why he's going out and getting more nuts.
Yeah. And there should be like lessons and characters and possibly rhyming, and like
so there's a bear that's about to hibernate and very sleepy. What else? There's other squirrels that have their nuts.
And I think it should definitely be kind of like a Winnie the Pooh situation where there are reoccurring. So that bear is going to be in all of the stories as well, you
Yeah,
know.
yeah. You're
And
surprised. You're very good at this. I mean, I know that you were a hardcore Disney fan longer than I was, for sure. But
yeah,
you're putting this together. I'm
I
glad to
also
have you
played a
on the
lot
team.
of kiddie educational games in
Oh,
my
really?
day.
Is
Yeah.
this a strength of yours?
I mean,
This is
I just played
good.
a lot. I played a lot of them. I was obsessed with games from a very young age. That those educational games, and then that weird pinball space game that was on every single school computer.
Oh, yeah. I know which one you're talking about with all
Yeah,
the purple and blue and
yeah,
yellow.
that was a good pinball game. Like it's
Dude,
better than a lot of the pinball games out there right now.
you're making me want those what are they? Wild berry Pop Tarts with the same kind of color aesthetic.
What? I don't even know what you're talking about. It sounds like a Wild Thornberry collaboration with Pop Tarts.
Let me see if they're wild berry. So, okay.
You're talking about that blue and purple one, right? And it was like all crazy, and the jelly inside is multicolored.
Yep. You know the one.
I don't know what it was called though.
I'm looking them up now. All right. So, yep, I got it right. Wild berry Pop Tarts. That's what I thought. So, we have our math game. We're going to have these reoccurring characters. There's going to be a bear. There's going to be a flying squirrel. There's going to be a snake. This snake's going to be a nice snake. We're going to subvert expectations. It's going to be used as a slide, like a chute and ladder kind of thing.
Okay.
We will have a small monkey, a spider monkey.
Okay.
We'll have a couple other flying squirrels as your friend. And then
there should also be kind of like the villain character that's always getting taught the lesson. You know, they never learn type of thing. You know how like in Dora there's the fox swiper.
How about the mischievous monkey?
The little monkey that you talked about?
Yeah. Where he's not going to be mean about it, but he's
naive.
On the wrong path.
Yeah, he just doesn't know better type of thing.
All right. So what are we going to do for the history game?
They go on vacation. It's them doing, this is like the filler episode stuff, like the beach episode stuff where like they go out and they're like going to Egypt and then they like go and like slide down the pyramid and stuff like that.
Yeah. Or I guess you could even say, yeah, they go on vacation. Yeah, that works. Yeah, they go on vacation. They learn about each and every place.
So real quick for the math, I was thinking the story is told in like story picture books and you get it for completing a level, right? For the history, you get the storybook first and it teaches you facts of wherever you are. Like for Egypt, it'll teach you about the pyramids and what they were for and stuff. And then you proceed to play the game, which is like sliding down. I feel like it'd be kind of like an endless runner type of game.
Or it's like choose your own adventure based on facts you learned about in your storybook. Or no, how about a puzzle game? Yeah, like you said, did you say puzzle game?
No, I actually don't remember.
I was thinking, what if we were to copy Monkey Island a little bit and make it about certain artifacts or something that you have to click on in the level that's related to the history. So you also get the symbol and a picture in your head.
Yeah, there was this educational game that I played that was like the Doom style or like the Wolfenstein style where you're like in corridors and you go and then it's like you're exploring a temple and then you learn facts as you're going through this temple and you'll like unlock doors and shit. Maybe it's something like that, like kind of like a dungeon crawler-esque thing where you have to find pieces and it'll teach you facts through like I guess small storybook cutscenes instead, you know. So you'll go find like a very cartoonish looking like iPhone tablet that you see in like Legend of Zelda, and it shows up and a picture book starts playing of what this item is, and then you take the item and put it somewhere, and then it unlocks a new cutscene that tells you about the pharaoh that you just unlocked or whatever, and then you go and then go somewhere else. And it could be like different settings look different, like it's not like corridors when you're in like the Amazon forest, that's just jungles, you know. and then you could like go through different paths that we make in the game.
Yeah, I like that. We can do that. So the flying squirrel gathering nuts. We don't want to have 2 jungle levels. I guess the other one's going to be a forest, not a jungle. So that works. And squirrels should be on trees. And then we're going to have, well, will we have different, are they all going to be dungeon crawlery like that? And we're just going to be learning facts as they go?
For the history games, maybe like it could be more varietal. Like I feel like for the math one too, that's not just the only setup we're gonna have where they're jumping from bench to bench.
There could be other ones like let's see, what can a flying squirrel also do?
Well, like it's a cartoon, I imagine. So it's not like it's always gonna do flying squirrely things. It's gonna be like,
well, what other things like, okay, why am I so bad at this? Why can't I imagine what a cartoon would do out of all the anime I watch?
like, you know, like the flying squirrel and his best buddy, the snake, decide to go into town and buy food for a big party, and then it's just you're in the supermarket in town.
Oh, there you go. And then you learn math at the supermarket.
Yeah.
Jay, you're a genius.
Shit like that. You know what I mean?
Okay, and then yeah, you teach kids change. Yeah. And then maybe another time they go visit the forest bank where they learn about interest. Is that going too far? Did I take it too big of a leap?
I feel like these are like young kids, like 3 to 5.
Yeah, you're right. Okay, so they go buy delicious treat.
Percentages is like decimals and shit.
So you have a 1% return every year. No, okay. So we have our shopping game, and then we'll have another game where you create a feast, and that's when you learn about simple fractions by cooking. I got this now, right?
Yeah.
And serving. So you make a pizza using flour, water, sauce, and cheese, which you measure out, and you find out what each fraction is.
How do you want to do the science portion? So, okay, the math stuff is just, it's literally just math, and then random shit's happening in the background, right? And then,
well, yeah, but you control it by the math.
Yeah, and then there's the history section, which is kind of more like a dungeon crawler, but like with a fun vacation setting. Like the flying squirrel and their friends are out on vacation.
We're gonna teach grammar by having them play a platformer where they have to choose the right path based on whether it's grammatically correct or not. So we're teaching them instincts consciously by making them choose the right path. So it's going to feel wrong when they're grammatically incorrect.
Maybe that's where we could implement your idea for choose your own adventure, where if you choose the wrong word for that grammatically correct thing, it'll take you to like a dead end. And then instead of it being like a bad ending, it's more like, oh no, this is a dead end. We must have gotten something wrong. And they walk back to the front, and then they go ahead and choose from the other two that is one of them is like the right answer, you know?
Yeah. Okay. All right.
And it's like you're literally putting in words that sound similar to each other, but they mean something completely different. So the characters go down the wrong path, and it's all told. They're going from point A to point B. I don't know. Maybe in this one, the story is like the grammar stories are like they're.
Well, one of them is maybe they're going to the beach for a beach day. So they're dressed in beach clothing, and then they have to go from the forest where they live to the beach.
I just thought of something. Maybe there's just a whole continual like story happening throughout the entire thing.
Oh, one overarching story that you can enjoy, but also bite-sized stories in between that.
I feel like it's more like there's one overarching story, but then there's like filler episodes where they go out on vacations and stuff. But this is the story package. This is the full game that the parent would buy for the kid. And this version, you go through the story, and one time you'll get math, then the next one's science, then the next one's history, then the next one's grammar, then the next. So it's like varietal. But then there's a piecemeal one that you could buy that doesn't have any story, and it's literally just the games that are randomized with no story bits in between. And the grammar one, maybe there's just a basic grammar one that doesn't tell a story. It's just different sentence puzzles. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
And then yeah, so there'd be those two SKUs. So there is one complete game that tells a whole story that also comes with the random games that you could play continuously without playing the story, or there's the one that is just the games without any story content.
Okay. I like that.
Just so like it's like a SAT, no, kind of like a SAT test where each question's a different part of the brain that they're using.
Should we throw guarantees in? If you put your kid in with these games and keep buying our packages from 5 years old, we guarantee at least Ivy League. All right. So we've done English, history, math. Let's move on to science. I, at this point, want there to be a time where maybe they're doing science experiments and this allows him through chemistry or biology to maybe change who he is. So he gains claws. Again, maybe I shouldn't go to violence. Dragon wings or red hair, you know, stuff of that nature to keep the child entertained and make it fun. What do you think? What kind of science? Because I know biology's simple. Oh, we should probably talk about weather and all that, right?
So how I feel like it's going in the overarching story is they're going from location to location, and they're following maybe the monkey all around the world because the monkey's trying to do something and fucking shit up along the way, and you kind of clean up the messes and try to show the monkey the wrong in his ways, right?
Yeah.
And so everywhere you go, your character does the math and the history and stuff like that and the science and all, and it's all depending on where you are in the world during the story beat, right? So when you're in Egypt, it all has to do with Egypt. When you're in I don't know, China, it has to do with China stuff in terms of story and the things that you're doing in the games that you're playing. And for science, it'll also kind of follow that same trend, but maybe for science, it's kind of like the upgrade section of the game with like a mini game in between. And
I was thinking you could for some reason in my brain, I feel like science lends itself closely to RPG elements.
Yeah, and that's what I mean, where it's like you are in your hotel room with your buddies and the tiger is a scientist and she's like, hey, we are here in Egypt. I found about this sciencey fact about something, and then you do it, and then your main character gets the benefit of whatever the sciencey fact is. You know what I mean?
Is that maybe where we can have cosmetic things for our squirrels? So if you're a smart squirrel, you get unique benefits.
Yeah, maybe something like that. But like, I feel like it's kind of like, and it doesn't also always necessarily have to do anything with the area, since it's just science in the hotel room that there's just chilling at and hanging out with each other. Maybe it could be kind of like just cool science facts that like this chemical and this, like there's some basic chemistry, biology, and
yeah. So we'll do like how water's made, chemistry in terms of making volcanoes, biology. Maybe. Do you think it's too advanced to teach? I think it's not too advanced to teach how plants make energy, but not the chemistry behind it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about? Where I think maybe we could use a plant and maybe them taking care of a plant to understand how biology works and chemistry.
Yeah.
H2O, sun.
And to gamify it, I don't know how you would gamify the science bits.
So how would we do this? Maybe in this one, I don't think it would have to be, I think this would have to be a tapping game where it would be a seed that you plant, and like, how do you make the seed grow strong? And then you'd have to do things like tap a cloud to give it rain, tap a sun to give it sunshine, maybe go in and then tap your character so that he can pick the fruit from the trees.
I see. So it's kind of like you're just tapping around the screen to make things happen. And like,
Yeah, but you have to tap in a sequential order that makes sense.
or just change the setting until you accomplish what it's trying to teach you. Like maybe you're
Yes.
trying to teach about photosynthesis, and if you touch the moon, it turns to a sun, and then you touch the sky and clouds come in or clouds leave, and then you can make it rain by touching different points of the area. And then maybe
Yeah.
if you touch certain also other parts, the characters are also on the screen and moving around trying to do whatever. And then
And
like,
yeah, and we could also teach space by saying, okay, now the silly squirrel wants to go to an asteroid. Tap on the asteroid to guide them there. And then you have to figure out which is an asteroid between a moon, a meteor, a satellite.
yeah. Okay, so it's just an interactive picture at that point, and that's
I
just
kind of
how
want to
the science
make
works.
like a biology game where you get a cute creature that you can kind of genetically edit, but maybe that's going too far. But it's just because I like that in Pokemon and Chows, and I want kids to get into it too. But I don't know how to make it a game that's
Maybe
educational.
how about we make it a collectible where in every level there's a hidden animal, and then you could there's like a part of the game that's like a gallery, and it's a whole like Animal Crossing-esque museum where you could just go and look at all these animals that you found hidden in each level. And it's just you just tap on it if you see it while you're in a level, and then it just unlocks automatically in the museum. And then you go, and then it has little facts about each animal.
I like that, yeah, and their natural habitat and stuff, maybe,
Yeah.
or just all together. Okay. And I guess what else could we do? Besides that, maybe we can do. I feel like we could play on a lot of the same settings by also like, because I was thinking from the beach, you can learn about waves, the ocean, natural animals in there, as well as the moon and how the moon affects waves. All from a beach day, too, from tapping on different things and learning.
Right.
And I was thinking we could do the same thing with mummification and the pyramids and learning about, fuck that, irrigation. Learning about how the Mesopotamian society created irrigation so that they could have crops.
Yes.
Is that science or is that history now? Or is it both?
I think it's both.
Are we enriching these kids on multiple levels?
I mean, that's the whole idea about the variety storytelling aspect of it, right?
Yes, it is. All right. What other subjects could we add? I think a spelling component would be easier, but not really, and maybe a vocabulary component that would be fun, but it could get annoying after a while. And I think it'd be our lowest participating one. It's not really, it's a core skill, but
maybe we could add it spelling, grammar, and whatever you just said, all just in the same category. Like it's it's
vocabulary.
It's just a penmanship class, you know.
We could also, yeah.
So like you're choosing paths to go depending on the grammar, and this choose your own adventure.
Book, and maybe there'd just be modifiers to that where there would be vocabulary courses as well as spelling.
Yeah, and then like you get to a section where you have to choose a bridge to cross or whatever, and then the spelling makes the bridge. You know what I mean?
Yeah, there you go. Okay,
Stuff
cool.
Like that.
Now, are we leaving anything out here? Maybe a health component, but that's not very fun.
Well, that's under science, I feel like.
Yeah, science covers everything except for math, but math covers science. All right. So what type of game are we looking at here? For some reason, I've always been picturing cartoony because of the nature of the animals and maybe because we're approaching young kids, but I mean, it could be CGI, it could be other things. What were you thinking?
I see it definitely more like, definitely like cartoony.
Like 2D, 3D. What were you thinking? Pixar?
Kind of like Winnie the Pooh. So like 2D, I guess. Like hand-drawn looking animation. kind of like to gamify it. I see it kind of looking like Child of Light.
So, okay, so we're doing hand-drawn animation, and Child of Light is a watercolor painted game. I think that would be really pretty.
Yeah. And like, of course, it's not like the character models aren't going to look like the characters from any of those things that we just named. Like the flying squirrels and all his friends are going to have a look and style to them that is unique to this game.
Yeah, definitely. All right. So, what kind of music are we getting in this game?
I just hear like a toy piano kind of thing, just playing like little nice sounding melodies. Kind of like lullaby sounding soundtrack.
All right, I like that. For most of the time, if this game is aimed towards mobile, the sound may very well be off. So I'm cool with that.
Exactly.
What's a toy I'm imagining a toy piano almost like the furthest I can reach out is like Rugrats. You know how those instruments sounded? Is that correct? Like, is that where a toy piano is in? Because I'm not sure.
That is kind of like the toy piano sound. They use the sound of toy pianos a lot in like reggae music. It's just the keys sound very short and they don't like resonate a lot. And it's just, I don't know. It just sounds like kind of like a Jack in the Box, but not so belly.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I got it now.
Yeah.
So how much are you willing to pay for this game? We're going to say the adventure pack here.
I think the story mode that comes with the game packs is going to be $9.99.
All right.
And I think for just the games, I would say either $1.99 or free with in-app purchases where you like maybe the math portion's free and then everything else you have to buy for like 99 cents or $1.99 to upgrade
free with advertisements
or something like that.
But no, I don't even want to do that. This is a kids game where we're trying to enrich them. I don't want to also be poisoning their minds.
Yeah. So I think like $1.99 or like 99 cents, but $9.99 for the whole story. And I think maybe for the story, it's gonna be long. Like it's gonna take the kid a while to get through all this. Like I'd say like at least
they're gonna have
adventure.
addition, subtraction, and multiplication and division down along with fractions.
Yeah.
All right. Jay, it's time to get your timer out because we're gonna name this game.
And go.
The Silly Squirrel in Subtraction. No. What? Where do we go here? Squirrel School.
Philip the Flying Squirrel.
Philip the Flying Squirrel. All right. I don't like that. Don't like Philip. Seymour the Flying Squirrel.
Seymour.
Don't you want to see more, play more?
Because he wants to see more of the world.
There you go. You did it.
All right,
and
fine.
see more math.
Seymour the Flying Squirrel in 44 seconds.
All right. Seymour the Flying Squirrel is an education platform where you are able to teach your child math, English, history, science, vocabulary, and much, much more in each of those subjects. Play as Seymour the Squirrel as he travels the world, learns math, and meets friends along the way in this classic adventure. That's educational as well. All right. So I think we have a game here, Jay. Would you want to play this, and would it be fun? This isn't for you.
No,
I didn't make this for you.
I don't think I'll pick it up. And I don't have kids right now, so I still don't think I'd even pick it up for anyone else. Maybe I could. I don't even know how I would even hear about this game unless the story is just so good and it's like Lilo and Stitch quality level, like to the feels story, And like some people are like, yeah, I got this from my kid and I've been watching them play and listening to the story that they're telling. And it's actually, wow, it's very uplifting. And like,
Or it's very beautiful.
yeah. Maybe then I might just be like, maybe they should turn this into a cartoon, and then maybe I'll watch the cartoon. But probably won't play this one, Alex. What about you?
No, I don't think I'll play this one, Jay. I think if I wanted to learn more about grammar, I'd probably play it, or I'd probably play it if I was like, hey, what are you playing, kid? And he's like, this, I'm really stuck on this math. And I was like, let me beat all the levels to take away the enjoyment. No, I sometimes I get nostalgic and want to play a rudimentary math game to make myself feel good, but I think I'm well past that now.
You think?
I mean, you never know. I might need to brush up on skills that have atrophied. And with that, our 112th IP has gone gold. We hope you look forward to this experience that will probably never release. You can write to @poundgames@gmail.com if you have anything to patch into the game we are creating today. Also, give us feedback. We are still learning how to make this show better, and your feedback really helps. We have a Patreon. If you'd like to back our ideas, please head over to patreon.com/wearenotgamedevs. Patrons receive episodes 2 days early and an extra podcast at the beginning, which you caught the tail end of our conversation at the beginning of this episode. That's patreon.com/wearenotgamedevs. And at this point, you can experience almost the entirety of Persona 5 with me by subscribing to our Patreon and getting at the beginning. That's all I'm saying. That's value.
And you could also follow the entirety of my adventures through The Last of Us Part 2, Persona 5 Royal,
and Red Dead 2.
All of these in the time that Alex is taking to finish vanilla Persona 5.
If you liked our show, why not subscribe and give us all the stars on Apple Podcasts, Google Play Store, Spotify, YouTube, and more. We're spreading like Corona. And if they ask for a review, instead of reviewing our show, become your inner game critic and review Seymour the Squirrel, the video game we just created today. Thank you for joining us. We'll be back next Friday with another new IP. Again, my name is Alex Gonzalez.
And I'm J.E.
Thank you, and please remember that we are not game devs. Did we manage not to cuss on the educational podcast?
No.
Can this be a show for kids?
No, we did not. We cussed a lot.
Oh, I'm so disappointed. I thought I didn't cuss. Okay.